situational shifts are going on. And usually we have a weekly update that is to do with the twin flame connection, which will be in the context of twin flame connection. But because I do coach twin flames, and because over the last 48 hours there's been shifts, we want to contextualize it. And we're going to look at the astrology for understanding. I'm going to talk to you about some of the situational shifts that has been going on. And my third eye is really hurting. It's causing a little bit of headaches. I understand when I do look at the astrology yesterday, which for some of you, you might be going from the 24th into the 25th, wherever you are in the world. But the energy that has been playing out over the last 24 hours as of March 2022, from pretty much the 23rd. We're going to look at the 23rd through to now and moving forward of what to prepare for and how things are going. Hi, Kerry. Some of the energy with divine masculine has been pretty heavy. And like I said, what I'm going to do is give you the reasons why some of these situational shifts with your twin flames. And if you go back to the last one, and I can't remember, was it divine masculine's read? I believe, for those of you that haven't seen it, I've really highly advised, and I do believe it came up in the Members Hub. It's $11 to go into the Members Hub, and it was to do with the situation playing out with the masculine, and we launched it on Wednesday. Now, the tarot card that came up wasn't a tarot, it was a ruin. It was to do with a temporary pause and a freezing of a situation. So it can be that the person's demeanor is a little bit icy. It can be that the energy is very cold, unresponsive. It's like something's frozen you in ice and it's not moving anywhere. And it's almost like the chariot is frozen and it's for us to do some clearing. But it was showing in the long-term run that things are going to be shifting. But at a psychological, emotional level, we had the moon on the 23rd, right? Transiting Sagittarius. Now, when we look at the astrology, divine masculine over the last 18 months, and that was pretty much from when we had the North Node in Gemini, the South Node was in Sagittarius. That is Jupiter in nature, and it is where divine masculine's astrology was at. So really, in layman's terms, linking to their astrology, there hasn't really been an ability to move forward. So from a psychological point of view, because it's in the house of Pisces, it's psychology. Okay, so what happens in Pisces? We're going to have a lot of Pisces placements next month. We're going to have heavy Aries energy. You really need to be very cautious in the first 8 days of the month. You will need to look at it as we are a bunch of wounded people running around projectiling at each other. And if you're in awareness of that, you're going to be moderating your manner and demeanor towards triggers. You're going to be in awareness that when a person is speaking, they're coming from that location, and it can feel personal, and it doesn't mean it's not personal, but we all individually have that placement, and even more so for divine masculines because it's Mars. So I have had 4 twins contact me over the last 48 hours. Number one, I did put a community post up for those of you that are new. I cover your ascension. I also cover the astrology, and I help you move through your twin flame path. I coach you guys on it based on my personal experience in my awakening and my twin flame path. So I've got a bit of everything that I try and use to help us through. By no means do I want to be here to tell you. I'm not here for the reasons of telling you have to be with your twin. I'm here to coach you through that process to reach personal union and to help you become the best version of yourself in the most grounded, healed format so you can choose to have what is correct for you. Now, the Schumann resonance spiked to, it was initially at 24, and I did predict it was going to spike, and it did go up to 45. It has been up and down. Again, you're going to go from being able to sleep to not being able to sleep. It's awakening, so it tends to heighten it. You can have the ringing in the ears. You can have fatigue happening. You can be just wide awake but really feeling exhausted. You can have a lot of downloads, a lot of psychic attacks. With the transits, let's get back to it. The moon on the 23rd was in the house of Sagittarius, which is to do with Jupiter. So at an emotional level, collectively, we were looking at growth. We were looking at We were looking at, again, because it's Sagittarius, it is gurus. We were looking at our spirituality, our value systems, our emotions. But again, because Jupiter currently is in the placement of Pisces, it kind of is reacting in both ways. When the moon is in Sagittarius, from an emotional point of view, divine masculines may be using vices to cope with their stress levels. It does come down to where the person is feeling psychologically stuck. It can feel that they are overwhelmed, tired, fatigued. And yes, definitely all of us collectively can say we have felt very, very tired. I'm definitely channeling into them at the moment. I'm getting a third eye headache. So it's like there's a lot of tension there. There's a lot of stress. Now we move forward a day. We go to the 24th. And we're looking at emotions first. I'll backtrack and I'll turn over other things. Then we have the moon on the 24th in the house of Capricorn, which is very Pluto. It's very 8th house. It's very much linking back to that Venus retrograde we had. And it's also linking to Mercury retrograde that we had. So that Venus was in the house of Capricorn for a very long time. Many of us would have been saying to ourselves, we don't want to hear from that person during a Venus retrograde. Generally, when it comes to workplaces, if you were going to employ someone during a Venus retrograde, that's really not the best time because people can change their minds. It's a little bit like Coyote Ugly. You get the good, the bad, and the ugly. At the end stage, you could then change your mind. If you've delayed the inevitable, Mercury then jumped in the mix. It was in the house of Aquarius, which is collective groups. It also dipped back into Capricorn again. So again, we just got through it, and that started November the 5th, 2021. We moved into Venus and Capricorn. It then moved into its retrograde. It then remained there, moving into the brand new year. Once we were recovering, we then had, as it was going direct, we had Mercury going retrograde in the same location. So just as we thought we knew what we wanted to do, how we felt, it then moved into retrograde, which was our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, second guessing ourselves. Still linking to, in a sense, the transits relating to feminine and masculine. So at a personal level, feminines were going through changes. We were looking at traditional attributes. We were looking at our prejudices associated with it. And then we finally had that movement forward. And again, it was very fatiguing. It was the moon in Pisces. We had the new moon in Pisces, which again, whenever we do have astrology linking to Pisces, it's very emotional. It's very lightheaded. We can because you're having to use your intuition. So there was a lot of air, and there was a lot of earth. When that's happening, you're feeling stuck, but you're having no oomph to get things done, because we need the balance of energies to be able to alchemize those things. And they are there for a reason. They're there usually to say, okay, what we're needing to do is we need you to look, we need you to dream, we need you to tune in and to get used to doing those things. How are you feeling? What are your habits coming up? Because the shadow sign of Pisces is Virgo. Earth is, what is the foundation of that direct situation you're looking at? So by the time we got to this Virgo moon, which we're still really embodying, even though as we move away from a new and a full moon, it transits through other cycles to give us various views to that Virgo moon. At the moment, you know, from the 24th, we were looking at the traditional attributes. We were looking at the structures and the safety and maybe society, government bodies. But it's the tradition relating to the day before, Sagittarius, growth, spirituality, value systems. Now, Virgo will come into it with logic. Virgo will come into it of how can I perfectify this to get the best out of the situation? It can be critical. It's higher heart chakra. It's a lot of Mercury going on, okay? So you're thinking, you overthink, you think, and much ado about nothing. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, with the Pisces placements to balance it, you go from the yin to the yang. In order to get Pisces, we need to do the Virgo. In order to do Virgo, we need to get the Pisces, and that balances both, and you can get harmony in both areas. So we do need to look at the fact that there is nothing that is perfect. I've been thinking about you, Elizabeth. I'll have to touch base with you after, doll. we do need to understand in context is that, and I'll ask Elizabeth as well, masculines in the last 4 days have been, you may have found that they have had emotions where they have needed you, but pushed you away. They may have felt very abrupt and snappy. They may have felt, because they do have inner child relating to their transits at the moment. So it can be burdens, it can be home, it can be unwell relatives. It can be karmics at the moment cycling out, changes of jobs. But the pressure cooker associated with the very long transits of Venus and the frequency of these transits. I mean, you know, how do I explain it? The last few days, the inboxes I've been getting from twins of very interesting text messages that they have been receiving, or those that have been in connections, observing their twin flame of what they're going through. Both feminine and masculine are very tired. Once we move into that new moon in Aries, you do have to be extremely cautious. And I mean extremely cautious. I mean, you can do what you want to do. It's not my life. I'm warning you, that's all I'm here to do. Because we could say things that we may regret later. There could be aggression. There could be arguments. There could be sudden changes that creates fear inside ourselves. But because Aries in Chiron is very close to the new moon in Aries, moon is mother, moon is intuition, moon is emotion. Yeah, twin too. So it's like the stress levels are peaking, but Virgo is helping them to contextualize it. You know? So the reading in the Members Hub was saying there is going to be a temporary pause for them to upgrade. So for my twin, for instance, there's things happening in his family. There's things happening with my family. There's stresses associated to it. There's excessive work, chronic fatigue. You know, so the vibration of how that person inside the chakra, like I said, some can be drinking a lot. Yeah, some can be drinking a lot. Some can be extremely, you know, trying to find a way to actually have a life outside of everything that everyone else needs. And that's the hard part these days. I saw last night a lunar moth, and the funny thing was, prior to my separation years ago inside of my twin flame path, it was the first time I had ever seen a lunar moth. And it is very much linked when you actually Google it and you look at it. And that was one sign from universe that my guides were giving me. And it was funny because I have a lampshade and there's a lot of cobwebs and there's spiders. So it's the tangled webs we weave when in practice to deceive. And this moth was getting entangled. And again, we think of the entanglement card, and it is psychological. These things are psychological. We can personalize them. We can have an attachment to it. We can want something that we're wanting to come out of it. But we also have to look at it and say, am I going to shake the soldier to the point and say, it's inappropriate that you're having a feeling? Like, I'm not saying by any means, I'm trying to give it the context of a frequency of what a human being can be experiencing right now. So think back always to what you went through aspects of your awakening and when you had a similar thing going on, so that when you're interacting with that individual, you can interact effectively. Because what we're wanting to do is break patterns, break cycles. You know, do divine feminines want to be there for their divine masculines? Yes, they do. But also they don't want to keep getting burnt. So there can be at the moment that divine feminines are reacting like a divine masculine. We're cutting, you know, so we're cutting. I'm going to have a look at the cards. Let's see what's coming through. So yes, I have noticed I've had messages. One message came through and it was to do with the statement that her twin had said, and, you know, in layman's terms, they had called her buddy in the message. Now, when we do that, what you need to understand is if a person is putting you in a category theoretically that you feel psychologically they've put you in the friend basket, you need to look outside the box. Sometimes that's because they're not going to presume you're single, and it's to keep their integrity safe. It's only logical, okay? The other is, can we look at something and say, no, that's not appropriate? Yes, we can. Is fighting purposeful? No, not really. It's not going to get us anywhere. Because when you do get into harmony, you will start to look at the painting as I am observing an emotion in a reaction sense going on in a human being, but that's not about me. That's about you. Is it going to pass? Yes, it is. Is there a lot of anxiousness for Divine Feminine? I would not be surprised if you go into the powder room 100 times. I'm in my pajamas because I've been on the phone to Twin Flames all bloody night. And my daughter. Shit. Sucks to be a Libra right now, I tell you. Got 99 problems. Told you the stress levels with the eclipse as well. And nerves. Yeah, it's temporary, I'm telling you, because they're moving in, but there's the real problem isn't you. The real problem is a situation they're realizing they want you, but there's X, Y, and Z over here. And that could simply be an emotion inside of them. It doesn't have to be a karmic individual. Some of you can say, but they're single, so what's the holdup? Have you been not being single and there's emotions coming up in you? Contextualize it. We're not saying we're normal as human beings. I was having a laugh the other day. I had this person jump on my live on Facebook. And you get a lot of bots, you get a lot of hackers at the moment. There was someone on Instagram that hacked a person that I know that is a person on YouTube. And they did it to me once. It wasn't so much hacked, they're copying. And again, with Uranus and Taurus and the eclipse in Taurus, it can be those things going on, right? So on this occasion, I saw it and I was like, all right, I'll go deal with that. So first it happened to me and it was on Facebook. Last time it was on Instagram. This time it was on Facebook. A person jumped on and I said, I feel this energy connected to you. I want to give you a reading. And I said, it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I read myself. And she kept saying it. And I was like, I'm watching this. And 2 seconds later, I realized they'd actually connected into my profile, copied a couple of my images, named an account, YILDIZ Readings 5D, and sent me a friend request. Yes, stupid? Then it happened to a person on Instagram that I know that is a YouTuber. And I was like, yes, stupid. The thing is, we can't help those who don't want to help themselves, We can do things the easy way or the hard way. This month, and who jumps on a person's channel and it's so embarrassing. I just don't I have no issue with promoting other people. I have lovely people on my channel that are, and I encourage to have their channels if they wish to. Yarn is one beautiful Soul Tribe member who I follow her. She's a reader. But I never jump on her page and go, I will give you a reading. You don't need to. Allow that. It's a little bit like when we pick a pet. The pet picks us. Spiritually, our soul will connect to an individual, and it's a choice that we go into. It's not, nobody is here forced upon their own terms. You come, you come. You go, you go. This is the way that should be. It's where we are in our life. Okay, so there's victim consciousness coming up, okay? Something has happened at the moment that is triggering a wound. I feel they're looking back to the person that they'd always wanted to be. I feel somebody has taken advantage of them and it has hurt them. They kind of felt, in their minds, they have learnt a lot of lessons. So the lessons they learnt was which cup not to pick. Are they frustrated at the shadow of those things? Yes. Is there regret of the past? Yes. I feel like they're having flashbacks and they're looking through. It's like I'm looking at this at the moment through the wheel. Now, this is who this person was. So they might have been a bit more open and then suddenly shut down and looked a little bit toxic. And I'm looking more at the 7 of Cups. What's been shown to me is a wheel. Okay, it's a new world, moving into it, a new cycle we're starting. As I mentioned, the previous reading that I did for the members was fracturation, a status break in it prior to movement. I'm seeing that like I said, this is to do with fantasies and delusions and, psychedelics. If a person is remembering back to the innocence of what they were, some of you are probably saying to yourself, where the heck did this come from? Something's happened. This person is also looking at their life like that. What happened to me? Something has happened. I'll pull a clarifier on this at the moment. Now, with the Seven of Cups, I'm seeing the wheel. I'm also seeing an old pattern coming back up, which I did say a few weeks ago. Pisces will bring that about, but it's not permanent. It's temporary. It's to help them purge a cycle and psychologically come to terms with it. Some of these things, they're guides and our guides, the people we chose to come into their life, it's like a simulation occurs to pass a test, like Mario Brothers. So this is coming up. So what can happen is that person at a psychological level is going back down memory lane. It can be a circumstance and a trigger sense that is coming up. It can be moving towards alcohol, substances to handle the emotion. I think some of them are feeling no matter what they do, they can't bloody get anywhere. They feel quite livid about it. Now, I don't know how I'm going to say this, but it is coming up, and it has come up with clients that have had some issues over the last few days. Any hands up who has been intimate with their twin over the last week? I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Anyway, anyone? Whatever they're dealing with at the moment, they're finding it really hard to focus on the truth. Somebody has lied to them. So, okay, what is the situation that changed Divine Masculine, please? What's been messing with them? What is this? I think there's a lot of fair. Yeah, no, I don't think it's fair. I think it's an old situation. They want the old them back, right? They're in the feminine, you're in the masculine. That's about the best way I can describe it. So has there been any twin that has been intimate with their twin this last week? Come on, fess up, feminines. In any which way, shape, or form. And I don't mean the 5D. I mean the physical 3D, the telephone, and direct 3D contact. Okay. Did you keep going? Because, and this is for other twins that find this video, or a person that is dealing with a partner in energy. So via phone, in 3D person. Yeah, okay. Now, those of you who had been intimate, was it quick? I can't believe I'm bloody saying this on fucking YouTube. Stress is the reason. There is a stressful situation here, and it's impacting their emotions. Neediness can come up. It's very emotional. There could also be a stress-related dynamic that is occurring at work, okay? They're worn out. They're really worn out. We have the card. The reason I said this is because we have this card, okay? They do want to be with you. They're frustrated. They do feel they're having something separate happening that is making them feel that every time they try to get to you, something's going wrong in their life. But something at a very personal level is happening with them at the moment. Something has caused issues. What is this? Yeah, something. It's like they're afraid that if they move towards you, it's going to turn to crap. But there has been something at an emotional level that's come up from the past that is causing conflict. Okay, look, it can't even be just a bloody conversation piece. It can be something as simple as, shame associated to the past, and guilt, and maybe conversation pieces that are coming up that are causing stress for this individual. And I've mentioned this 100 times, guys. It's like, I had to really look at this through a reconciliation. And it was okay. Have things happen to a person that have been harmed, for instance, is that at the time we were a victim. But if we're physically choosing to go back into that connection, we need to create that safe space. And Elizabeth, you've been through this. So that's why we're going to do the webinar when I can be appropriate enough to it. is that the intention needs to be that when we go in, yes, okay, we will want to talk about those things. Yes, okay, well, we need to understand those things. But if you've got to calm the energy to be able to get in towards each other, to make it a safe space to be able to do that. If it's off the bat, a text, you want to get into the telephone call, you want to then get into the meeting the person in the 3D, you want to avoid the intimacy, and you want to get to getting comfortable, creating a sacred space that both parties can communicate in a very safe way, speaking from your own point of view, not presuming what the other person is feeling. Because I do see at the moment the masculine separate to you, dolls, is having something happen that is quite traumatic, okay? This has caused their energy this week to be very off. You're still their plan. They're gauging where you're at. If you're coming across in a way, if they've still got that wound there, they may react oddly, right? I'm feeling the weeping, like it's emotional. It's feeling let down, emotional, tired. They do want a partnership with you, right? And this was the analogy I gave you guys, and the card has bloody come up. I knew it had come up. I was seeing a lunar moth last night. Lunar moth can connect to the twin flames. It's quite symbolic of such. It's very rare. Green is the heart chakra. We had the moon in Virgo, and then we're moving into the place of Aries, okay? So it's relating to masculines owning their power, being able to heal that inner child, wherever that wound is located in their charts. This was the card I was talking about. The cobwebs stuck in your head, right? When we're stuck in our mind, the 12th house of Pisces helps bring that shit up. We're scared, we want to push it down. We can project, we can get grumpy, we can drink alcohol, we can do things that maybe aren't necessary. Maybe we can believe things that we felt that a person was going to do to us because of what another person did to us. So as much as divine feminine has wounds, divine masculine also does have wounds. You know, it can be high expectations of themselves. Virgo's high expectations. I mean, you guys are fantastic. I love you to bits. But on the lower octane, it can be what would the word be? Unrealistic expectations on yourself that nobody has ever expected you to be. They're not reachable. They're not, if we could wave a magic wand and take all the bad and undo it, we wouldn't be the people we are today, and we wouldn't have skills to share with other individuals, empathy and understanding to share to other individuals. But we can't do that. It's not possible. It's not real, right? So is this causing angst inside divine masculine? Yes, because divine masculine is feeling, I can't do anything right here. I have hurt you. What am I to do with that? Can I face myself with that? I don't know. If I do, am I going to be prosecuted? And you know, am I going to have to wear the A on my shirt for the rest of my life? Are you never going to give me a chance to prove my worth? And if that's the case, it's not moving. Do you know what I mean? That causes stagnancy. So something emotionally has come up, so the masculine can clear that, so they psychologically can make peace with that and not go into that because it's not productive. Number one is because it was Mercury in nature with the moon, it's emotions, it's inner child. The shadow sign of Pisces is Virgo. Jupiter is relating to masculine, which is... So the whole month has been to do with the masculine having a transformation. Feminines, we're going through it too. For divine masculine, where we're landing here, moving into April, I'm seeing that this is going to clear because it is in reverse, which is good. And I did see the cobwebs feeling stuck. It was mental bondage, mental blockage. A decision is going to happen and balance is going to come back. But at the moment, from an emotional point of view, this person may be wanting to move into you and wanting to move away, wanting nurturing, pushing you away. It's not you, okay? Gauge how it fits for you. But the love is still here. This person does love you. Then we're moving into change, okay? There is stressful karmic situations coming to a close and coming up. There is a, you know, feeling is like there could be an individual messing with them and causing drama. Regrets of dragging you into circumstances, but also becoming at peace with their life. Now, left or right for karmic situation. If you need a personal booking, get on a book, because I am booking fast, like it's filling up. We also have the webinar for the eclipse in Taurus that is going to prepare you for the ascension, your transformation, the movements, and all the rest of it. I'm going to be pretty punchy today. Right. So was that for the karmic or for... It was for the karmic, right? I'm outdoors, so I'm risking it for the biscuit. I'm hoping to God nobody bloody plays music, or I'll be like, oh, God. I needed to connect with Earth. It was like, look, this has been up all night talking to twins. And my daughter. Okay. Do I need to say more? How they're thinking about it is it's over. Has it felt the death of them? Yes. Are they sick of it? Yes. Hi, Rebecca. They were never, it was in and out. It was very choppy. This person was very choppy. They're kind of like, they sometimes we go into these things and we're like, look, you know, I thought this would be a great way. I think this week this person has messed with them. This could be a work. This could be an emotion. This could be a feeling, a situation that they're going back and forward in. Now, when we look at karmic, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. Remember, there were family-related dynamics. There were emotions internally, it could be, which is a blockage in the chakra relating to a karmic cycle. So you've got to use this in context of how it fits with your twin. There is a cycle coming to a close and there's worry about it. It's like, gosh, I need to, it's got to go. It's not working for me. It's affecting my health. I'm not really committed to this. I wasn't really ready anyway. I didn't quite know how to make this judgment. I'm trying to come to terms with something, but this has woken me up to, I can't do this. This is something that isn't working for me. I'm going to have to make a judgment. Even though I know it has come to an end, I'm looking at it, it's messing with my mind. It's affecting my frequency. I'm not really connected to it. So why is it affecting my emotions? It's because they're afraid of failing. And it's this, again, Virgo's perfectionism. It's like they're kind of not, they're wanting to do things by the book, but at the same time, when they have, it's been to their detriment. And when they haven't, it's been to their detriment. So they're bouncing between feminine and masculine energy at the moment. They know overall they have to make a decision. But, you know, the funny thing is some of this isn't even a decision. Some of this is more to do with the fact that it's to do with the emotions associated with that cycle, because I don't really think it's here. I think it's gone. I feel it's more an emotional. For some, it's workplace. It's coming to terms with it. It's feeling a little bit frightened and anxious. Am I going to be able to be stable? For some, it's an emotional point of view and recovery. But whatever this is at an emotional level, I'm seeing they know they can't go on like this forever, and they know it wasn't going to go anywhere. Okay, so it is changing. Now, in the context of what they're wanting to do next. Okay, I feel when they look at, when they're dealing with you at the moment, they could feel lack mentality. What do I mean by that? They could be pushing you away. They could be maybe a little bit quieter than usual. You're going to leave me, or you don't love me. So it can be almost having that inner projection, you know, feeling not good enough, feeling that they're not where they wanted to be, right? They're dealing with this karmic cycle, though. I think this is coming to a close. It does feel very emotional, but it's psychological. It's not, like I said, for some it's already done. They kind of feel they've mucked you about. They feel that there has been a lot of crap going on. They know you're going through stuff. They don't feel good enough for you. In their heart, you still will always be their high priestess, okay? They don't want to keep having bad luck. They're really exhausted. Even if they had hurt you in the past, they also have experienced hurt. So in a context, they're like, number one, I don't want to redo that hurt to you. Number two is if I feel like I'm a piece of crap, well, maybe I should just push you away. Could there be triggers and insecurities? Yes. Are they spiritually hoping you can... You're going to be a bit confused by their demeanor. I'm just going to say that, okay? But this is... It's coming to a close. So, you know, the one piece of advice I could give you is be awareness of this reading. Be awareness of the energy of the astrology. I don't think it's permanent. I really don't. But could it be uncomfortable going through it and viewing it? Yes, it could. Especially if you're receiving it through the 4D. And you're not physically seeing that person. You could emotionally feel at a collective level. We're feeling the Schumann resonance spike. So breathe in, blow out. Now, what are they doing? They're addressing it head on, or head on. That's why I keep getting the third eye with Mercury through the Virgo moon. What is it doing? It's making them feel unstable, but they're addressing the fact that it's causing that. They're looking at the fact that they're going to need to, in this shadow, it's going to give them the clarity that they need. It's going to give them clarity. So this is serving a purpose, right? Are they going to be overprotective? They're going to look at that shadow as well. They're going to look at the fact that they're being overprotective and paranoid maybe and holding back, and it's like all or nothing, you know. And we tend to do that, especially when we're being hurt. We tend to be, well, if you've hurt me, I'll never give you anything. And we know it's not necessarily true. Okay? Remember, you're observing assimilation. What are they going to do? They're going to focus on the connection with you. But they're going to look at the reasons why these things weren't, you know, they're kind of going to get to a point they're going, well, why would I sell myself short? Divine feminine is the divine feminine. Is this a shitty situation? Yes, it is. I'm feeling a lot of headaches and channeling it. Lack of sleep, inability to sleep, stress, going off food, drinking, nervousness, feeling guilt, asking outside themselves for comfort. They may come to you for advice. Be quite partial. Understand their side. Nurture yourself. But also remember, you are watching assimilation. Okay? Because this is heavy shit. Now, I'm going to look at the astrology relating to the moving up until April. April, I would say for a week, be cautious. Could they be, I'd say 3 days. The danger point is the first 8 days. And if you go and look at any astrology reading, they're going to tell you the same thing. So, on the 25th, we have the moon in Capricorn. We've still got Mercury in Pisces. So, Mercury is the things we do. I would still say with Mercury in Pisces, it can be the stress levels of the thoughts and actions are going to be facing shadows, but it also could cause issues with pacifiers. Oh my God, Jupiter there too, which expands the situation. I look like crap. This is where feminine probably feels right about now. Well, I do because I'm coaching you. Mercury again is still in Pisces and it's at the critical degree point. It's at 29 degrees. We also have the moon in Capricorn still. That is on the 26th, so it's going to be very strict, routine, looking at foundations. Foundations, when we look at it from an emotional point of view, the masculines will be focusing on the inner child and a family related dynamic. It could be home or accommodation, safety, well-being. Next, another thing I saw was Freud, and Freud is to do with psychology, so that was another message I was getting from universe, was to do with human psychology and conditioning. We can see a lot of it at the moment, especially moving into the month of April. I mean, therapist's going to kill a pig with money, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. 26. Moon's still in Capricorn. Moon's still... It's heavy, so it gets heavy, but it's earth. There is... where's their fire? Let me have a look where fire is. Is there any fire in the sky? Chiron. So we're going to be doing shadow work. Mercury then moves into Aries Oh, okay. Finally, by the 27th. I don't know why. I kind of feel we've missed a week, like a week is missing. I don't know why I keep getting that. It's like, you know, mind blank, a week has been missing. Like, it's almost like we were MIA. I'm seeing that by this point, it may be that they're more assertive. It may be that they're taking actions and taking steps. So this can be the masculine's position from a Mercury point of view on the 27th, but it's at 1 degree, okay? It is Mercury. What's your communication style with these individuals? If they do communicate with you and it's flighty, I would already predict the sun also is in Aries. So believe you me, they're going to be speaking their bloody truths. They're going to be fiery, passionate. You add the other transits to it. There's going to be a lot of responsibilities because we've got Venus and we've got Mars and Aquarius. It can be feeling like they're juggling, they're doing a lot. Jupiter and Pisces, trying to get things done. Neptune, looking at truths and reality. So they can get a bit more energy then. But from a communication point of view, if somebody's messing with them, they're going to be a bit verbal. And we can be too. So watch your P's and Q's. If they call you and they've had a gutful and I did this and I've made up my bloody mind, I'm not surprised. Same again, 28th, same thing. It's at 3 degrees by this point and the sun is at 8 degrees. Now, the sun is our identity. It can be our intuition, our energy. Will we have a little bit more oomph? Yeah, we'll have a little bit more oomph because we've got 2. But we'll be rushing. Don't rush and drive. Be careful by the 26th onwards. Venus is at 21 degrees on that day in the house of Aquarius. And again, it can be multitasking. It can be a lot of responsibility. It can feel burdens. But again, it's quite 11th house. And my twin's calling. I'll have to call them back. I'll have to be quick. Then we have the moon in Pisces on the 29th. They really want to punish us, don't they? What about me? It isn't fair. Okay, so be aware that on the 29th, the moon is in Pisces. It is at 11 degrees and it is relating to Jupiter. So could they be facing shadow on that day? Yes. Could it be very intuitive? Yes. We'll do super chats. What I'll do is I'll come back. I'll have a quick chat and I'll come back. But that's for those of you that want it. Is anyone in the house wanting a super chat? Give me about 20 and I can come back and I can do the super chats. Anyone interested? Otherwise, we can do it later. It's up to you. Hi, Char. Anyone in the house want to listen to the video and then I can come back in about 20 and we can do the super chats. We'll do them separate. And I can always add an extra one in on Monday. I can come through and see you on Monday because I'm sure we're going to need the bloody support. So please comment to this video, especially if you feel another person is going to really benefit from this information after the video. If you put your opinion of what you gained from this or anything you have to share about your twin flame path, feel free. I'll be back in half an hour and I'll see you on the other side.